Now I've got my engine added to my project. I want to bind the data source of my application to that project. Now earlier we looked a little bit at how you could bind XML documents. Binding a CLR object is very similar. The CLR stands for the Common Language Runtime, which is the language system that the .NET framework is built on. It's not necessary to really understand what the CLR is and how it works, only realize that when you're pulling an object from either C# or Visual Basic or any of the other languages that the .NET framework recognizes, you'll import them as data sources as CLR objects here in Expression Blend. Now when I press plus CLR object, the CLR dialog comes up, but the only libraries I see are the Presentation Core and the Presentation Framework. I don't see my word game here, and when I type word game in the search box, you're going to see it still doesn't come up. The reason is when a code file is added, it's just code. We haven't actually made anything out of it. So I'm going to build my project under Project, Build Project, and now that code file has been converted into an actual object that I can use. Now watch when I click plus CLR object, you'll see that my game engine's namespace shows up as well as my word game project. I'm going to click the word game and press OK. Now in my data pane, you can see word game DS and the actual word game. Now when I expand this, you'll remember when we worked with XML, you saw all of the different nodes that were part of the parent node. In this case, we see all of the fields. Game in progress, game length, keyword, all of these are fields that my developer has exposed for me to be able to bind controls to it. Just like I did with the XML, I want to bind the word game data source to the word game project itself. So I'm going to click and drag word game to my grid. Again, I'm presented with the list of do I want to create a new control to represent my word game, or do I want to bind my word game to the grid? In this case, like I said, I'm going to bind it to the grid, and I'm going to use the default property, the data context. Now, any controls that I place on this application, if I bind them to the explicit data context, they will bubble up until they reach this word game object.